Welcome to the 50-hour service video for RockShox Reverb Stealth B1 model seat posts. Reverb Stealth B1 seat posts have a RockShox logo beneath the post head. If your seat post does not have this logo, you have a Reverb Stealth A1 or A2 model. Go to SRAM.com/service for information on Reverb Stealth A1 and A2 models. You will need common bicycle maintenance tools, as well as some specialty tools. View a complete list of tools and supplies in the video description below, or go to SRAM.com/service. Secure the bicycle in an upright position. The seat post will be removed from the bicycle. Do not clamp the seat post in a bicycle workstand. Raise the seat post to full extension. Turn the speed adjust knob in the opposite direction of the arrow until it stops. This is the full slow position. Remove the saddle clamp and saddle using a 4mm hex wrench. Use a T25 Torx wrench to remove the reverb remote lever from the handlebar. Use a wrench or quick release lever to loosen the seat post collar. Remove the seat post from the bicycle while simultaneously pushing the hydraulic hose into the hose port in the bicycle frame. Do not pull the seat post out of the frame if there is tension at the hose. This can cause damage to the hydraulic hose and hose barb or connectomajig. Clamp the seat post into a bicycle workstand to hold it in position. Place a rag under the seat post and hose to absorb any hydraulic fluid that may drip when the hose is disconnected. Do not allow reverb hydraulic fluid to come into contact with any brake components. Contaminated brake components can compromise brake performance, may cause brake failure, and can lead to serious injury and/or death. For seat posts with a hose barb connection, use a 7mm and a 10mm open-end wrench to unthread and remove the hose barb and hose assembly. For seat posts with a connectomajig hose coupler, use a 6mm and a 9mm open-end wrench to unthread and remove the connectomajig coupler. Service can be performed with the connectomajig installed. Clamp the lower post into a bench vise with Park Tool AV5 soft jaw vise inserts, with the post head facing down. Use a pick to rotate the retaining ring so the scalloped end is accessible with the pick. Use the pick to pry the retaining ring out of the groove. Slide the pick around the rim of the lower post to pry the retaining ring from the lower post. Push the upper post up to expose the poppet valve housing base plate lock ring. Place flat aluminum soft jaws into the vise. Clamp the wrench flats below the lock ring into the vise, just tight enough to keep it from spinning. The 11mm wrench flats below the lock ring can be damaged easily by an open-end wrench. Use a bench vise with flat aluminum soft jaws to avoid deforming the part. Use a 26mm open-end or adjustable wrench to remove the lock ring from the poppet valve housing. Remove the seat post from the vise. Clamp the lower post into the bench vise with Park Tool AV5 soft jaw vise inserts, with the post head facing up. Use a 34mm open-end or adjustable wrench to unthread the seat post top cap. Slide the top cap up to the post head. Pull the upper post assembly up and remove it from the lower post. Remove the lower post from the vise. Clean the inside and outside of the lower post with isopropyl alcohol and a clean rag. Clamp the post head into the vise with flat aluminum soft jaws. Remove the 3 brass keys from the upper post. Clean the upper post and keys with isopropyl alcohol and a clean rag. Apply a liberal amount of SRAM butter onto the seal head bushing. Apply a liberal amount of SRAM butter to the inside of the lower post. Center the bottom out O-ring and foam ring, squeeze the inner seal head bushing, and slide the lower post down over the seal head bushing. Note the number of etched lines on the keys. The number of lines represents the diameter, and replacement keys must be the same diameter. Vertical wear lines on the keys are an indication that the keys are worn and should be replaced. Apply a liberal amount of SRAM butter to the key slots. Install the keys into the slots. The orientation of the keys is not critical. Apply a liberal amount of SRAM butter to the keys and the upper post. Align the lower post key slots with the keys and ensure the laser-etched RockShox logo is aligned with the back of the seat post head. Hold the brass keys in place and slide the lower post down until it engages the keys. Continue to slide the lower post down over the brass keys. Slide the top cap up until it contacts the lower post threads. Thread the top cap on to the lower post by hand. Use a 34mm Crowfoot socket and torque wrench to tighten the top cap. Remove the seat post from the vise. Clamp the seat post back into the vise with the Park Tool AV5 vise inserts with the post head facing down. Push the upper post up to expose the poppet valve housing. Place the poppet housing base plate lock ring onto the poppet valve housing, wrench flats facing up, and thread it on by hand. Use an 11mm open-end wrench to hold the poppet valve housing in position. Use a 26mm Crowfoot socket and a torque wrench to tighten the base plate lock ring. Do not scratch the inner shaft with the wrench, as this is a critical sealing surface. Scratches can cause leaks. Pull the upper post down to full extension to seat the base plate lock ring in the lower post. Install the retaining ring into the bottom of the lower tube retaining ring groove. Insert the flat end into the groove first and guide the retaining ring around the end of the lower tube until it snaps completely into the groove. Verify the retaining ring is securely in place with a pick before continuing. Failure to properly secure the retaining ring will result in collapse of the upper post when weight is applied. Clamp the seat post back into a bicycle workstand. For seat posts with a hose barb connection, thread the hose barb into the poppet valve cover. Use a 7mm open-end wrench to hold the hose barb in position, and use a 10mm Crowfoot socket and torque wrench to tighten the hose barb. For seat posts with a connect-a-majig hose coupler, push the connect-a-majig hose coupler into the connect-a-majig coupler until it stops. Thread the hose coupler into the connect-a-majig coupler by turning the coupler collar clockwise. Use a 6mm open-end wrench to hold the hose fitting. Use a 9mm Crowfoot socket and torque wrench to tighten the connect-a-majig coupler collar. Before using your seat post, you must bleed the remote system. Click this link to view video instructions or go to sram.com/service for more information. This concludes the 50-hour service for RockShox Reverb Stealth B1 seat posts.